What is your American dream?
I am in the process of continually reaching my dreams in terms of my career. And as we move forward, I think the biggest American dream that I could think of is everyone having the privilege to not have to justify their existence. Everyone should be able to do that. I think that would be the perfect American dream.
What I dream about is that someday peace will arrive in Afghanistan and in Logar, and that I hope that as much as possible, I'll be able to go back and live there and to perhaps study or teach there.
I mean, in a sense, I'm already living it. I have a great job that I love in academia. I have a great family. What you can make of yourself is obviously partly dependent on your own abilities and what you do, but it's as much or more dependent on whether there are barriers to opportunity. And if we break down those barriers for more people can live out more of their dreams. And in the process, they can benefit others as well as themselves.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. Welcome, everybody. It's Brad Show Live. My name is Brad Bernstein. Somewhere on the other side of the desk is Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias. Within arm's reach of me, Yo-Yo, how are you, my man?
I'm good.
Vanessa.
Nesquik.
Virtual.
Hey, Fred.
Virtual. There you go. All right. How's everything going?
Feeling good.
All right. Looking good.
Rainy on this side.
Looking good.
Yes.
Feeling good, looking good.
Right back at you, boys.
One of my favorite movie. What is that from? Last scene in my all-time favorite movie. My all-time favorite movie. All-time favorite movie.
Is this a gangster movie?
It is not a gangster movie. It's a comedy from the 1980s.
Is Richard Pryor in it?
Richard Pryor is not in it, but very good guess. Somebody similar but younger.
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy is in it.
Yes, I remember. It's not. Is it Trading
It
Places?
is Trading Places.
Oh!
My favorite movie of all. Looking good.
Yes,
Feeling good.
There we go.
That's right. That's after they took all the money from the Dukes.
Yep. That's a brilliant movie.
That's right. Brilliant
Yes.
movie. Eddie Murphy's like, you know how you make rich people unhappy? You make them poor, right? That's how you make rich people unhappy.
Yes.
All right, let's say hello to Westman Squad Up. How are you? Sharika Gale, Squad Up. Marion Thack, Squad Up, and Sabrina Persaud. Very little people so far on YouTube. Or am I watching YouTube? No. Oh, I'm watching Facebook. Or am I watching?
No, that was YouTube.
That was YouTube. Wow, I screwed up. I was looking at the wrong thing. Now I'm on Facebook. There we go. Let me say hello to Jessica Kalimi Joel, saying squad up to the pizza. Abidoum Jamo, squad up. How are you? Carol Anderson, the Tiger. And I'm late coming on Facebook. I had the wrong app.
Yeah, so
I don't have everybody.
Jewel Delph. We got Isla
Enats.
Yes. Chetty
Manduri.
There you go.
I know them all. I don't even have to look at them.
Annette Campbell Miller.
Yes.
Grandma's.
Sharon Horton.
Graham's Tage Dage. That's not a good one. Tage Dage.
Tage Dage. I don't know. Althea Reed.
Mavo Tom. Yeah, Val Thomas. You already said all these?
Yes. And Shanika Gale has a pre-immigration question. We might as well do our pre-immigration question on YouTube. In regards to a VAWA case, what need must I expect after the biometrics have been done? Is it okay to travel on advance parole? Yes, okay to travel on advance parole after you do the biometrics. Hopefully you'll get your work permit. Hopefully you'll get a prima facie, and you are off to the races.
Yes.
Yo-Yo, Vanessa, we started off late. Let's get going.
Absolutely. All right, squad. You already know what time it is. We need you guys to share on all social media platforms. If you did share, I need to see it in the comment section. Let me know that you guys shared, because I don't know if you guys are listening to me now. I need you guys to let me know that you
What'd you
shared.
say, Yo-Yo?
I don't know if you're listening to me now.
I didn't hear that.
I need y'all to share.
There you go, Yo-Yo. Now they're listening.
Alright,
Now
there
they're
we go.
listening.
Yes, so we're about to start schmoozing with Brad. We're going to be talking headlines and immigration news, including a breakdown of what is going on in the battle over voting rights.
And it's Tuesday, so I hope your tea is brewed, squad, because we have some celebrity news to sip on with Brad, including Richard Branson's Sunday trip to space on his Virgin Galactic spacecraft. Did you guys see that?
A Sunday
Yes.
trip to space.
His
Says
Sunday.
that.
Who has a Sunday trip to space?
A billionaire.
Only a billionaire.
What?
We got to get Eddie Murphy
Right.
to take away Richard Branson's money and
There you go.
see how far he gets into space, right? And of course, later in the show, we got. By the way, Eddie Murphy, also an extraordinarily rich man now too.
Yeah,
by the
but
way,
not no Richard Branson rich though.
and later in the show, we will hear the second part of my talk with Bruce Goldstein, the President of Farm Worker Justice, about the Farm Workforce Modernization Act of 2021, which would provide farm workers with a path to legal immigration status. Of course, you can also call our telephone number that is scrolling on the bottom to get on our show. Ask your immigration questions live of me in about 15, 20 minutes. 1-800-529-5465. We do have open lines as we speak. You ready to start schmoozing?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So President Biden, he went out to Philadelphia today to make a big speech on voting rights. He says that voting, the possibility of having voting restricted in the United States is the biggest test to our democracy. He issued a dire and angry warning that American democracy is under threat. He stopped short of embracing changes to Senate procedures for the Democrats to pass their voting bill. Remember, you need 60 votes to pass. We only have 50. The president's speech in Philadelphia, which is the birthplace of American democracy, it is where the Declaration of Independence was signed. It was meant as an ongoing push against restrictive voting laws that have passed around the nation in Georgia, now perhaps even in Texas. Now, since the November election, state lawmakers have enacted 28 laws in 17 states that have restricted ballot access. Can you imagine that they are making laws that make it more difficult for people to vote?
Yeah.
Not easier to vote,
Right.
harder to vote. So if you make laws that make it harder for people to vote and restrict everybody from one person, one vote, which is democracy, you're basically saying we only want people who are going to vote for us
Of course.
to vote.
Yeah.
We don't want people who are going to vote for the other side to vote, which is what's going on in the state legislatures right now. Now, President Biden has taken particular aim at who else? The pumpkin. Because he has refused still to this day, pumpkin, to accept the results of the 2020 presidential election, accusing the pumpkin, the Republicans who follow the pumpkin, of fomenting a pattern of denial that is fracturing the country's foundations. In the news, they're calling it the big lie. The fact that President Trump says that he won the election, despite every person who is knowledgeable about elections, despite the fact that I don't know how many states have been re-audited, recounted, how many lawsuits there have been.
Did that cost money too?
Yes, this has been the most reviewed election of all time.
For no reason.
For no reason. President Biden won, and President Trump,
Fair
even
and
this
square.
past weekend,
Still talking.
saying he won the election. There's even talk on the internet that come in August, he's gonna be reanointed the president of the United States by magic, because they're going to realize after auditing the results that he won the election. Now, President Biden finally, he hasn't said a word. He didn't say a word when Trump went on January 6th to the steps of the Capitol and told everybody, go in there and don't let them vote Biden in. He has not said a word for 6 months about Trump and this big lie. He's finally came out. Finally, excuse my phrase, because I am not a gun advocate, but he came out guns blazing. Finally, he took particular aim at Trump. He said, in America, if you lose, accept the results. The big lie is just that. It's a big lie. At one point, he accused Republicans of following Trump's lead in denying the election results and for not upholding the Constitution, in which he said of all of them, have you no shame? He called the efforts to call the election into question dark, sinister, and saying they reflected human nature at its all-time worst. Biden began his speech by recounting the stories of Americans who voted in the last election despite the COVID pandemic. We forget that, right? There was no vaccine back then when the vote happened. He noted that the last election had the most votes cast in any election in American history. The president stressed the work to pass the For the People Act, as well as the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act, is extraordinarily important. Passing new voting legislation in Congress, however, is going to require the passing of the filibuster, which right now they will have trouble doing. Now, in particular states, let's talk Texas. Okay? In Texas, they have passed a bill that's going to restrict voting. It's going to restrict mail-in ballots unless you get permission from the state in advance. It is going to restrict people having the ability to drive others to vote who can't drive themselves to the voting booth. It's going to allow partisans to go into neighborhoods and basically heckle people who are going to vote. It is going to reduce the number of people who can vote in particular state elections. People are not going to say, I don't want to deal with this. Okay? To drive long distances.
Right.
To stay out in inclement weather. To wait on long lines. Perhaps they have illnesses or medical conditions. Too bad. Now, what's happened is the Republicans control the state legislature, but the Democrats have enough people in the state legislature that if they don't show up to a vote, there's not enough quorum. Quorum meaning enough congressmen in the state legislature to actually have a vote, yes or no. Right. So the Democrats en masse in Texas have left Texas, refused to go vote because they know the Republicans are going to vote this law to restrict voting in Texas. They have all went to Washington, D.C. to speak to many of the Democratic senators who will not go in favor of the filibuster. It is only the filibuster that will actually be able to overturn these state laws and regulations. Governor Abbott of Texas has said once these Democratic legislatures come back to Texas, they will all be arrested. So the heat is really going up there. So we'll see what happens there. They're not returning to Texas. But they eventually, I guess they have to. So. Meanwhile, a federal judge in Pennsylvania has signaled that far-right attorneys Sidney Powell, Lynn Wood, and other pro-Trump lawyers are all going to be sanctioned in Michigan for bringing frivolous lawsuits about the big lie, about the fact that there was a fraud in the election in Michigan. Powell and her co-counsels have unsuccessfully sued Michigan election officials after the election, attempting to overturn the presidential election. During a hearing yesterday over the sanctions request, U.S. District Judge Linda Parker repeatedly expressed skepticism of the pro-Trump attorneys. Parker said that one affidavit presented as evidence of election fraud. I don't think I've ever seen an affidavit that makes so many leaps in faith. This is really fantastical. This is what the judge is saying.
What?
So my question to counsel here is, how could any of you as an officer of the court present this affidavit to me? Rudy Giuliani, he's been suspended. He has been suspended from the New York bar and from the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. bar. Giuliani former, yep, that crazy guy, former mayor of New York City. He is no longer able to practice law in New York, where he was a mayor.
Wow.
Because he pushed this big lie that Trump had the election stolen from him. And by the way, all of these voter restrictions is a result of Donald Trump's big lie.
Yeah.
So all the Republicans are all looking to kowtow to this pumpkin guy, and they all want to gain his favor, which is why they are making all of these restrictions. Trump is saying the election was stolen from him, illegal voting, people shouldn't have voted who did, there was ballot stuffing. So they're using all of that as an excuse to limit people from actually coming to vote.
And that, I'm not going to hold you that. I mean, obviously it's a horrible thing, but it really, really, really pisses me off, especially because of how much we, at least black people and women, had to work just to get to vote. So now that we're finally here, and it's almost like a step back. You're taking it back from us. And, you know, obviously, I feel like it's definitely going to target like impoverished neighborhoods, like lower income neighborhoods. I've already seen it in Brooklyn when I was living in Brooklyn. I saw how they would move certain stations, you know, further away from families. So me and friends actually put together like vans and buses to start taking people. And that was just a little thing in our neighborhood that we did. So this right here is it's a huge step back. And it really irks me that they can like get away with this.
Well, they'll get away with it because the Supreme Court has allowed them to get away with it recently in many decisions, rolling back restrictions on the 1965 Voting Act for civil rights, on allowing money into politics. Prior to, I think it was 2011, 2012, Supreme Court, you were only allowed, corporations were only allowed to give a certain amount of money. They weren't allowed to be all these political action committees. It was all government financed with small money from people up to $2,000 per donation. Now it's unlimited money. And it's people buying votes and people buying politicians. And we have a situation where Fox News is saying one thing, CNN and MSNBC is saying another thing. Everything is extraordinarily partisan. Just bad times right now.
Yeah.
And now we have Republicans who are saying that the election was stolen from Donald Trump with absolutely no evidence whatsoever, and using that as a basis to restrict minorities, poor people, people of color from voting. Why? Because minorities, poor people, people of color are not voting Republican.
Right.
Republican.
Right. Meanwhile, my vaccine of choice, Johnson & Johnson, came out yesterday that if you get that, you have a chance of getting autoimmune disorder known as Guillain-Barré syndrome, or Guillain-Barré syndrome. It's a very, very rare, it's a nerve disease that if you get tingling in your fingers, sometimes you lose, ability to make a fist or clench your foot or something like that. It's extraordinarily rare. It only happened in 13 people, but the FDA has come out and said that it is a possibility if you get the Johnson & Johnson shot. It's only happened in 13 people, at least documented. Maybe there's other people who are walking around with the syndrome and don't know they got it from the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
Oh, that's scary.
At least according to my private doctor, because I called him and I was a little concerned.
Yeah.
For whatever it's worth.
What are they saying?
I don't know. I'll tell you what my private doctor said, but 100 doctors may tell you 100 different things.
Right.
But my private doctor told me, because I was concerned because I had the Johnson & Johnson shot, my private doctor told me that this disease, Guillain-Barré syndrome, happens in almost every vaccine that's given. There's always a small percentage, so it's not shocking that it would also happen in the Johnson & Johnson. It's just more the news and the FDA covering their tuchus.
I was about to say, have they? I don't think they.
But he's telling me not to worry about it.
Not to worry.
Yeah. I won't worry until my fingers start tingling.
Yikes. I wonder
That'll
if this
be a
is going
sign.
to. I wonder if this is going to be the same for Moderna and Pfizer as
No,
well.
they're a different vaccination. It's an absolutely different vaccination, Pfizer and Moderna.
But it's still a vaccination. Didn't you say he said that?
Yeah, but
this
it's
usually happens
but
to-
in other words, this is I'm not a scientist, but Johnson and Johnson is they're giving you a mutated virus that causes an antibody response. That's a dead virus.
Right.
The Moderna and the Pfizer are giving you an mRNA, if I got the initials right, which is basically some protein that gives instructions to your DNA to create antibodies. So it's a completely different,
Got you.
situation. There's actually, I didn't say 13 instances, at least according to the Washington Post, 100 instances.
Oh.
So I was wrong. More in men than women.
Oh.
Yeah. But there has been no cases of the disorder reported in trials for Pfizer and Moderna.
Okay.
All right, Vanessa, we rifled through because we started off so late.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get some tea going, right?
Yes.
I'm sure
Tea.
I am sure that we'll have some beautiful tea coming in.
It sounds
Sounds like the
chaos
tea
out
fell.
there.
Sounds like the tea fell. Did you drop the tea, J. Rhymes?
Not this tea.
You did drop the tea. I could have sworn the tea. I heard dishes falling.
Goodness gracious.
I could have sworn I heard dishes. Did you hear like a big crash of dishes? He got the hint not to wear a white
Ooh.
T-shirt.
Look at the color.
J. Rhymes, 1 second. Let me put this back here.
Uh-huh.
All right, let me take my
Thank
tea,
you.
please. I'm very concerned he's going to drop the tea all over
No,
everybody.
I don't think so. This,
Yes.
I like the color.
This is a pink color today, J. Rhymes.
Ooh, it smells
What did
good,
you
too.
bring us today?
Impress me, fellas. Impress me.
It's pomegranate.
Raspberry pomegranate.
What do you have? What do you have? You're not prepared for
I-
tea.
I am not prepared for tea.
good.
You are not prepared for tea.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much, J. Rhymes. Let's
good.
see how it's good.
Wow,
Yes.
I'm jealous. Pomegranate raspberry.
It smells so good.
Quite
very
a switch up
nice.
from our
You
weekly
talk amongst
peppermints.
yourselves. I think I just want to have some tea.
Our weekly peppermints.
No, peppermint's over.
we're
This
done.
is the where we have.
We're gonna have this for the next 3 months.
I'm telling you something. I don't mind. I don't
It
mind.
smells so good.
You know what? I think like we should have maybe we should change like Wacky World News Thursday to Italian night and just have J. Rhymes bring us some like pasta every night,
Ooh.
every Thursday. Like, oh, it's pasta night on Bradshaw Live. What'd you make? We should put him in a kitchen to start cooking, J.
Listen,
Rhymes.
don't tempt me with a good time. You know I like to eat. Baby boy likes to eat.
Can you imagine every Thursday it's pasta night?
I would be here for that. All
Well, that-
right.
That's very good tea. All right, so Richard Branson, did you check it out, Vanessa?
That video, yeah, I saw the video.
You didn't watch him live.
No, I didn't watch him live. I just watched the clip afterwards.
I was too poor to watch it on live.
Why? You didn't have to pay for it, did you?
No, but he's on a way different tax bracket.
Okay. So on Sunday, after nearly 17 years of development and over $1 billion invested in Virgin Galactic, Branson achieved his dream and reached space. I feel like the guy spent like $1 billion so he can take a roller coaster ride. Basically, right? I mean, I got so much money. I'm just going to build a roller coaster. I'd like to have a fun ride.
Yeah, but
Right?
an out of this world roller coaster.
Yeah.
That's
An
wild.
out of this world roller coaster.
He said it was the complete experience of a lifetime.
I'm sure.
I dreamt of this moment since I was a kid, and honestly, nothing could prepare you for the view of Earth from space. The company's spacecraft,
Wow.
the VSS Unity, launched above the skies of New Mexico from the Spaceport America in Los Cruces. Branson and 5 of his colleagues, 2 pilots, 3 other mission specialists, were on board. Vanessa, you can book your ticket. They are taking tickets now. $250,000 a seat.
Wow.
Yeah,
$250,000 a seat.
Reasonable.
Very reasonable, like, because Richard Branson doesn't need, he doesn't need to charge an arm and a leg. He just needs to charge like 75 million bodies right? Just not an arm and a leg, like bodies
That's
and bodies and
wild.
bodies. I mean, what does he need the money for? $250,000. Why is he even charging? He should just be giving it for free.
Right.
All right, let
Hey,
everyone
I
go
mean,
into space for
you know,
free.
If
I'm
you-
waiting for the
you-
billionaire to do that.
If you had the money
If I had the money,
that you didn't have to care about any costs,
yeah.
would you have taken this?
Yes, not on this particular flight, no.
Oh, you talking about like the first one?
No, I would never go on the first
Yeah,
one.
we don't want that.
Okay, no. But if you told me, you know what, this Virgin Galactic thing, it went up and down, 50 times, everyone seems to be alive, it's a lot of fun, and it was reasonable price, sure, why not, right? Wouldn't you do it?
Right.
But not for
Right,
$250,000.
even-
No way.
250,000.
No way. 250,000, not even
God.
150,000. You know how many
Golly.
consultations that is, and $150 a consultation? It's a lot of consultations to go fly into space for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of consultations. I thought the most interesting thing, Vanessa, was everything, and everyone thought everything was really interesting. But to me, what was the most wild thing is there was a picture in the newspaper at 3 a.m. of Elon Musk in Richard Branson's kitchen, barefoot,
What?
wishing him good luck.
Uh,
I'm like, okay, you don't see that one every day.
You don't.
Why? I wasn't expecting that one. Elon Musk barefoot in Richard Branson's kitchen at 3 a.m.
listen, friends.
What's up with that?
They're brothers. They're like brothers.
What is up with that?
Maybe that's a close friendship right there.
Well, according to Elon Musk's PR people, he flew into Las Cruces, New Mexico on Saturday evening and was up early the following morning to wish Richard Branson well and witness the launch. And there was a quote from his PR people. It was so great from Richard Branson. It was so great to find Elon in my kitchen at 3 o'clock in the morning. Richard Branson said after the space flight. The Wall Street Journal reported on Sunday that Musk had bought a ticket for a future ride.
Oh.
Yeah, so he was dropping off his check to Richard
That's
Branson.
wild. Rich people
right.
things.
And a
Yeah.
nice ride.
Yeah, rich people problems. There was not a seat on this particular flight.
Right.
He was on standby. Elon Musk came in if somebody was going to not show up for the.
Just in case.
I guarantee you, right? Don't you think like he just showed up and like.
But do you have to do some kind of training or something?
I have
though?
no. You just get in the seat and fly up there. You're not flying.
But he was like,
This is
I
the
think
whole-
he was like floating and stuff too, right?
Yeah. But the whole idea behind this is that
Anybody could do it.
anybody can do it. This is the first time you don't need to be an astronaut. This is
That would feel so dope, though. That would feel pretty
right.
cool.
So what this is really all about is passenger experience going into space. That you, as just a regular guy with $250,000, you don't need astronaut training. You don't need to go to NASA. You don't need. You just show up. You get in your seat and you fly into space. So this is what's called commercial space travel. So this is going to go down as the first commercial, meaning popular, non-astronaut space travel
Got you.
in the history. And Richard Branson wanted to beat Jeff Bezos
And he did.
to it. And he did it. And I really believe Elon Musk showed up as the standby, like he's sitting there like in standby. Like when you're like you're first on standby if somebody doesn't show up. Like I really believe like somebody doesn't show up, Elon Musk
I
is like,
believe
yeah,
it.
I'll be there.
Right.
He's hanging out in Richard
Just in
Branson's
case.
kitchen.
Just in case.
I already gave you my check for $250. Meanwhile, Nick Cannon, what's your thoughts on this?
He is building his own city of kids.
He became a father of 7 on June 23rd when his presumed current girlfriend, Alyssa Scott, gave birth to baby boy. Alyssa shared the news on her Instagram account and revealed the child's name is Zen.
But I think those twins he had like a week before.
Right. Now, the news makes
Yeah.
Nick...
I am not caught up on Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
You're not. All right, so let me fill you in. Okay, so he's 40 years old, and he's the father of 3 newborns as his ex-girlfriend, Abby De La Rosa, welcomed their twins on June 14th. And I will love you for eternity. June 23rd, 21. Alyssa captioned the post by adding the baby's birthday. Abby De La Rosa pulling the Richard Branson in the kids race, giving birth 1 week before Alyssa Scott.
Yeah.
Kind of like Richard Branson pulling off the space thing 1 week before Bezos.
Yeah. I haven't seen this since Lil Wayne had got like 3 different women pregnant at the same time. I think it was like Lauren London, Nivea,
What?
and like they all became like real good friends while they were pregnant because the whole world was laughing at them. So who else to look to than your sister wives?
What do the women think of all of this? I mean, if you're a woman, what would you think? You
having kids with somebody who has his own freaking like zip code, low key. Nick Cannon is doing big, huge things. So it's like, you know, you're having babies with a rich man who your life, the kid's life, everybody's life is going to be fine.
As long as he keeps making the money.
Well, he will. He owns so much, though. He owns a lot. He
Where's he
owns
own?
Wildin' Out. Like he does Wildin' Out. He has radio shows. He hosts everything. He's like a young Steve-O.
I mean, but what does he actually own? I know he's very popular.
I can check.
Okay, I'm not saying he's not popular. I know what he does, but what does he actually own? You know?
I think
there's
it
a couple
Nickelodeon?
of projects that
He owns Nickelodeon?
I think he doesn't.
As part
Right.
producer, yeah, he produces a bunch of stuff
Well,
on a couple
right.
of different programmings too. But
So as
I
a
mean,
woman, what do you
honestly,
think? What do you think? I mean, a woman gives birth, all right, that she's taken care of for life now by Nick Cannon?
not even
Or
just
she's
that,
like
like,
mad,
when
like, what is this?
they're
What
good
is
for
this
life.
Abby De La Rosa giving twins and I only got one?
They are good for life.
You definitely know who you're getting yourself. Like, you know, these women have to know who they're dealing with. Like, I don't know what false promises Nick Cannon gave these women, like, for us to all end up here, but they know what they're getting themselves into, and they had to have known that they were pregnant at the same time. It's just modern day.
Now-
like, it's not okay, but they know what they got themselves into.
Now, about 6 weeks before Alyssa gave birth, she was calling Nick Cannon a player.
Well,
Well, you are.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about that.
yeah.
So Nicky has 2 sets of twins. He shares his oldest children, 10-year-old twins Monroe and Moroccan Scott, with ex-wife Mariah Carey.
They have twins as well. Oh,
Yeah.
so he's the Nickelodeon. The network was rebranded as Teen Nick with him as chairman in 2009. So this man has his hands in just every bucket, and
all the right pots.
yeah, like.
Now,
They're good for life. I'm just telling you, they good for life. But I just don't.
now
It's a lot of
on
kids.
Power 106 Los Angeles radio show, the masked singer host said he's having these kids on purpose after City Girls rapper JT advised him to wrap it up, a nod to using a condom. Obviously, he's not using no condom, and I think he's gonna get, you know. Well, you know, there was a famous book, Cheaper by the Dozen, where, you know, one guy had 12 kids. I think he may be cheaper than 2 dozen by the time he's done.
Listen, he says that these women did not get pregnant on accident. He said he knows what he's doing.
Well,
We just don't know
He's
what
calling
it is.
he's calling himself a seahorse. He says, "I'm like a seahorse out there. That's just the way I'm procreating."
What?
Literally.
That's not.
Yeah.
But that's not. It's wild to me because he says it like it's attractive though. Like that's not. Is that something that y'all look for? Like, man, that just be.
To each its own.
You know, spreading the sperm.
Now, besides that, he had his own little incident back in 2020 when he was thrown off the show Wild and Out and fired by Viacom for some anti-Semitic comments he made on a podcast. Now, according to Viacom, Cannon has since apologized. He has taken responsibility for his comments, and he's learned how to become a more effective advocate for whatever that means. Who knows? Who knows? All I know is the man can't keep his pants on or off.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, Vanessa. I don't know.
3 kids,
Three kids
in less than 2 weeks.
with 2 different women.
told you, the last time I heard something like that was Lil Wayne.
Yeah. It's been a while. But
You
it
know,
still happens.
I'm telling you, the more kids you have, the more work you're gonna do.
Right.
All right, I'm sorry.
Such
Okay.
men need to fill the world with more.
All right. He just better hope he's working a long time. This guy, because these women are gonna want a lot of money
yeah.
from him.
Absolutely.
These kids are gonna want a lot of money from him, and as long as he's making the money, everything's all fun and games.
So you get that child support.
Right, but as they all say, everything sucks when you got no bucks.
Right.
Right? So I hope this guy keeps making money.
For the kids' sake.
For the kids' sake. For the mother's sake.
For everyone's sake.
For everybody's sake.
Healthy
Yeah.
sake.
And talking about, laughing with a lot of money, here's another guy with lots of money, Drake.
Mm-hmm.
All right, did you see he rented out Dodger Stadium for a...
I did.
Oh, he did not rent it out. I thought he rented it out.
But he had a private dinner on the field, right?
Okay, so Drake took full advantage of the Dodgers being out of town on Thursday. I actually read that he rented it out, but according to these cards, he didn't. Setting up a date on Los Angeles field with Joanna Leah, and the whole thing looked like it was taken right out of a Drake song. Turns out Drake didn't technically rent out the stadium.
So what, they just hooked him up?
Yeah, they just hooked him up. Now, but and what happened was he was having a date there on the infield of Dodger Stadium, and somebody came by with a drone and said, "Whoa! Is that Drake on a date with some random?"
Look at them looking up.
Yeah, with
too,
some random woman that nobody didn't even know who she was.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was a helicopter, not a drone.
It was a helicopter.
It was a helicopter camera spotted the 34-year-old at a table with Leah near the dugout on the third base side of the field. And there was a white tablecloth, multiple dishes, flowers, even a personal bartender for the couple. Man, that's a date.
That
is a date.
How do you have a personal bartender?
What do you think is, by the way, what do you think is going through this woman's mind? She's
used to it.
Okay. She's used to it?
I bet so. If you're hanging, look at her. And then you're hanging with Drake.
All right. So let me tell you who if you're unfamiliar, I'm unfamiliar who she is. Okay, Leah is the mother of Sierra Canyon star and UCLA commitment Amari Bailey, who's teammates with LeBron's James' son, Bronny James.
Mm-hmm.
So she's the mother of some college hoops.
Basketball players.
Basketball players.
Jokes about this because there was a basketball game where Drake is on the sidelines and it's the young boys basketball game, but the mom was there.
Yep.
Sidelines too, like
that
cheering
one.
the sun. There it is.
Right. That's the woman he went out with.
Yes.
But can you imagine, even if she's well known or whatever? So obviously she's been on multiple dates with him. But can you imagine that as like, Drake picked me up. We had a table at Dodger Stadium, tablecloth, butler service. I mean, it's got to be like almost like a fantasy, right? Like almost like I can't believe this is happening to me. Pinch me.
I feel like it's a fantasy when you actually get it with somebody that you like, because there's a lot of girls out there that get it from guys that they don't, but they just do it because it's like, all right. But like to do it with somebody that you actually
how do you know she
sexy,
likes him? Maybe she's just doing it. You don't know. You don't know.
That would be wild.
Right? Just because you don't like Drew. I don't know.
That would be wild.
Yeah. You know, my son.
She may like him.
I'm pretty sure too.
I'm gonna call out my son because he just blasts Drake every day in the house, and he told me, he goes, there's only one person in the world that would take a bullet for, and that's Drake.
Oh. Wow. Diehard fan.
He's a diehard fan. There's lots of diehard people love Drake.
Yeah.
People love him.
Yeah.
I go, I don't know if I'd take a bullet for him. I don't know.
I know I wouldn't.
I said, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure I like his music, but I don't know if I'm taking a bullet for Drake.
Please. You don't know who we are.
You ain't taking one from me.
Who would be your fantasy date at Dodger Stadium?
Oh, wow. Okay. See, I used to be prepared for this. You know what? It's too bad that Mike. I'm a big Michael B. Jordan sort of. That's
Lori
kind of
Harvey. Lori Harvey gonna fight you.
Oh.
I'm definitely
I know mine.
Kind of girl. I I definitely love that Toronto swag.
Uh
I
huh.
don't know, man.
Lori Harvey will fight you for
know.
that. You want to know mine?
Yeah.
Oprah. I want a
Really?
sugar mama. Sugar mama.
Oh,
Wow, Yo-Yo wants to retire.
There you go.
Step aside, Stedman.
Think smarter,
Get
not
out of
harder.
here, Stedman.
Oprah, where you at?
you're right. I am thinking
well then.
That's my dream
Well,
date.
you know what? You know what? I'm gonna change that.
Okay.
All right, I'll take Queen Elizabeth. She's
There
only
you-
got a year or two.
listen.
She's only got a couple years left, right? She can't be around for too much
Listen,
longer.
Queenie.
Right?
What's
You're
up,
listening,
baby?
Queenie.
They do it to us. Why we can't do it?
And by the way, Jessica Levy, she wants to have Idris Elba at Dodger Stadium.
Oh, okay.
All right, Idris Elba for Jessica Levy. Queen. Give me a call. I'll still do the Brad Show live. Don't worry.
Oh, please. At the Buckingham Palace.
Buckingham Palace. Can you imagine? they're like, Queen. Who invited this guy? No, I've been practicing my tea. I've been practicing.
There
Look,
you go.
I've been practicing. All right, we got to get into our education. We got to get moving along here. In today's education, I talk about the two very important things you should do if you're injured on a job on a construction site. Let's watch. My goal is straightforward: to make the law usable and easy to understand for everyone. All of us in the United States have equal rights and should have an equal opportunity and a right to justice. I'm here to help because I want everybody to achieve their American dream. I'm Brad Bernstein, and this is your Litigation Braducation. I'm not here to tell you what you want to know. I'm here to tell you what you need to know. Construction accident law is different in each state and is very complex. My objective is to make the law easy for you to understand so that you can use the justice system to your advantage if you or your loved one is ever hurt in a construction accident. Now, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there are more than 150,000 serious construction site accident injuries each year in the United States. That's enough to fill 2 NFL football stadiums. And in fact, the Liberty Mutual Workplace Safety Index recently reported that United States companies have paid out more than $62 billion for workplace injuries in only 1 year. That is more than $1 billion per week. And the annual cost to United States business of lost time workplace injuries is greater than the gross domestic product of 91 countries, according to data from the World Monetary Fund. So this is really important to know because there is big money on the line if you get injured. And you want the money in your pocket and your loved one's pocket and not in the pocket of some fat cat at the insurance company. So listen up, because some things are universal no matter what state you're injured in. Now, most worksite injuries fall under workers' compensation and prevent you from filing a civil action for your personal injuries. But in New York and in many other states, if you get injured on a construction site, you can obtain workers' compensation and also file a lawsuit for your pain and suffering, your lost earnings, and all past and future medical bills. So if you fall, something falls on you, you're injured on the construction site, these are the things you must do to make sure you put yourself in the best legal position to ensure your highest money settlement. Number 1, stay where you are and call an ambulance. Do not have your employer or coworker drive you to the hospital, because then there is no record that you were injured at a construction site. The insurance company could say the accident never occurred where you claim it did. Number 2, take pictures and video, or if you're too injured, have your friend and coworker take pictures and videos of you and everything around you. This is really important. A construction site is always changing since something is being built there. So make sure you memorialize by taking pictures and video of how the accident site looked at that moment in time that you got injured, because it's not going to look the same for very long. All right, you got a question. I hope I have some answers for you. Call 1-800-529-5465. We still have some open lines, so you will definitely get on to speak to me if you call right now, 1-800-529-5465. Low callers today. That's good news for the people who are saying, I won't get through. You'll get through if you call now. Let's go to Peter in the Bronx. Peter.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, good afternoon, Brad.
Good afternoon.
I'm just asking a quick question. I'm married to a U.S. citizen, but she filed she filed an I-130, and it was approved. But then everything was sent to the NVC. But I'm here, and then they said that I have to do the I-485. So I'm wondering, what should I do? Should I continue with the NVC or I wait on the USCIS?
Okay. So you got a wife. You're in a bona fide marriage, I presume. She filed an I-130. And after she filed the I-130, you entered the United States on a visa. What kind of visa did you come
No, I was here. I was here
you've been
before.
here the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you've been doing is nothing so far. Nothing. You've gone zero, zippo. You're still at the starting line. What kind of visa did you come here on?
B1.
Okay. How long have you been here?
3 years.
Okay. So where are you from?
Jamaica.
Okay, so the process you're doing right now is for you to go pick up a green card in Jamaica. If you do that and you leave the United States to go pick up your green card in Jamaica, we won't see you here for a decade. Your wife will not see you for a decade. In America, it'll be big problems. You don't want to do that. You need to file an adjustment. So everything you've done so far has just been nothing, just spinning your wheels, going nowhere. You need to take the I-130 approval, file an adjustment, get your green card here. Period.
So we already did the adjustment, and then we get back the letter telling us that it get through. So we're just waiting. That's why I'm saying,
you didn't get a letter saying you got through. You need to go for an interview. What are you talking about?
No. We get the letter telling us that we get an alien number, and then it's telling us that in a couple weeks they're going to send us the work,
the biometrics and everything. All right. So you got receipt notices. And you since,
exactly.
Okay, so you filed the adjustment, and now you have a notice from the National Visa Center. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so all you got to do now is you're going to write a letter to the National Visa Center. I am adjusting my status. Please return the I-130 to USCIS.
Oh, okay.
All right?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Simple as that. All right. Let's go to Michelle in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Michelle in Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Hi.
Hi, Michelle.
Good night.
Good night. How are you?
I'm fine. I listen to I subscribe, so every time I listen to you guys.
Thank you very much.
Doing your thing.
Thank you.
At one point you were missing though. You were off the record.
I was off because I had COVID and I was very ill, but I'm better now.
Oh, I'm glad you survived it.
I'm glad
tell your
too.
testimony.
Thank you.
All right. I remember calling you years ago about my sister that I adopted, and I get turned down because they say I was 3 days too late, and she was a little bit over 16, but I started the process before. I was supposed to call you back, but I couldn't find the paper for immigration, so you could able to get the number. I couldn't find it, so I didn't call you back then. But now, this is a new story, so I'm still going to call you about that one, but I don't have the paper. I guess you know your thing. You could able to get the record for me.
Of course. I mean, you not having a paper is no reason not to call me, but I'm just listening. What is your question today?
I'm listening.
What's your question today?
This one I'm calling you about is I got married in Jamaica to my long-lost love.
Good. Congratulations.
Thank you. But we got approved for the I-130 last year, November, and I heard someone with the same situation that was speaking to you months ago, or maybe last month or whatever, about the same situation, get approved in November, and you told the person that, okay, if you don't get any answer from immigration by the end of July, they should call it back. So I'm just calling you because I know I'm going to call you back too.
Yeah. Well, this is the situation. I mean, you have the I-130 approved. Are you documentarily qualified through the National Visa Center? Everything was done?
Yes.
Okay. And that was done since when?
That done before COVID.
Before COVID, and you still don't have a husband here?
No.
All right.
No,
So.
And I'm also a nurse, and I've been traveling during COVID, and I'm trying to save a lot of people and nurse a lot of people in COVID.
So you need to write a letter to the U.S. Embassy, to the National Visa Center. I'm not sure where your file is at the moment, asking them to expedite.
It's national. They say at NVC.
Asking them to expedite your case, and you have to come up with humanitarian reasons. The problem is that they're so backlogged. There's so many people who are waiting because they were closed because of COVID, and now that they're open, they're short-staffed, and who knows who's working remotely, who's there. It's a huge mess. I don't know how they're going to get through this huge backlog, but it's a backlog in every legal situation. There's backlogs in the local courts here in New York for years. Everything is backlogged in the legal system. It's an absolute mess. So what you need, or what everybody needs to do, although they can't expedite everybody, but somebody's going to hopefully get to the top, is you got to write letters requesting humanitarian expedites and give your best reasons, your saddest stories, your most humanitarian story, why you need this man here, and please get my husband here. That's what you need to do.
I did already. I tried to expedite because it was a huge stress on me working with a lot of COVID patients, and they didn't care. Right? They said I should wait.
All right. Well, the only thing you can do is try again. Hopefully, with a lawyer, maybe we can express your feelings better. Other than that, I don't know what to say. People sometimes get it expedited, sometimes they don't. We could also call the embassy and try them as well, but who knows? But this is a problem everybody's having around the world. It's not just you. So, I know it doesn't make you feel better because you want your husband here, but at least they're not picking on you personally.
All right. But I'm still going to contact you, though.
Okay. Hold on.
Thank you.
Let's go to Yannick in Fort Myers, Florida.
Hi, Brad. Good evening.
Hi, how are you? Good. What's going on?
Thank you. All right, so I'm removing my condition, my 3-year conditional from my green card, and I want to know if the G1145 goes along with the I-751.
The what? I don't even know what the G1145 is.
I don't know. Is there any other form that goes along with I-751?
No, just the I-751 to remove the conditions of your permanent residence. That's all you need.
Okay. So also, if I download the form to fill it out with a pen writing, I don't have to do it online, do I?
You do not have to do it online.
Okay. And one more question: is it mandatory for me to get like an affidavit letter? Does that have to be a part of it, or can I have other stuff?
No. What you need to do is prove you and your husband live together and you have a financial relationship, and that's going to be pictures, bills, tax returns, letters addressed to you and your husband at your marital address, things of that nature.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thanks so much, Brad. Have a good evening.
All right. Let's go to Michael in Baltimore, Maryland. Michael.
Hi, Brad. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I have a question, a few questions. Bear with me here while I get it out. It's my first time, and I like everything that you're doing. I always watch your show.
Thank you very much. What you're saying is, you know what I like about your show? Everything. I appreciate it. What can I do to help you today?
Everything, man. Everything.
Right. What can I do to help you today?
Me and my wife got married in 2017. I'm going to try to break everything down short. We have all applications have been filed, the I-130,
yes,
the I-485, and the I-765.
Right.
So we had a family friend do it, a church family friend.
Okay.
But she have everything going to her house. My wife had a biometrics. We live in Maryland. She had a biometrics, and it was scheduled in New York.
All right, so they're doing it wrong because unless this person is an attorney.
No, she's not an attorney.
Okay, so this is the problem. Okay, you have to do your adjustment where you live, not where the person from the church who filled out the application lives. And for whatever reason, the person who filled out your application did it incorrectly and claimed that you were living in her home, and you're not. You're living in Maryland with your wife. So what you need to do to start with is file an AR-11 and change your address to Maryland. Do everything in Maryland, change an AR-11 for the I-765, an AR-11 for everything. It should not be going to this woman's house. That's not where you live. And I'm sure on the application, that's where she claimed you were living, because there would be no other reason why all of this would be going to the woman's house. The only time it goes to someone other than yourself is if you hire a licensed attorney who is the only person, man or woman, who can submit what's called a G28. Only a licensed attorney can do it. A licensed attorney can submit a G28, and then the notices can go to the attorney's address, even though you live in another state. Other than that, there's no reason that immigration's mailing application or mailing anything to this person. That's not where you live. You live in Maryland. So stop it right now. What you do is you have to file an AR-11 on the I-765, an AR-11 on the I-131, an AR-11 on the I-130, an AR-11 on the I-45, which is the change of address form. You can do it online. Change your address to Maryland. When you go on the interview, the officer's going to be like, you lived in New York for 6 months? And you're going to be like, no, I hired this lady, and you'll tell the story.
Okay. I just want to, and if we get caught up in a situation where they ask questions, can they deny us?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So
But
you have
an honest mistake, obviously. You just have to.
What I was planning to do is to get a lawyer here in Maryland and explain, because everything is submitted already.
You don't need. You just need a lawyer. Period. It doesn't have to be in Maryland.
Okay.
All right. I could be a lawyer. You could have a lawyer in California. Whatever you want.
All right. Thanks a lot,
right,
Brad.
good luck.
Keep up the good work.
All right. Let's go to Kevin in Brooklyn. Kevin. Did I not get Kevin? Kevin in Brooklyn. Now I got Kevin. Kevin.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Brad? You good?
Good. What's going on?
Yeah. So, question. I got a question from my aunt, right? So, her visa expired today, and she's going back to Jamaica today, right? But she's not going to reach Jamaica until the 14th. But she has an I-130 that has been approved. Would that affect her since her visa has expired today? If she wants to adjust her status?
Okay, so when you say her visa expired, are you saying her visa expired or the duration of time she was allowed to stay in the United States on her visa has expired?
No, her visa itself, the visa.
The actual
expired
visa that allowed?
today.
Okay, so she's
Yes.
been living here for years now, then I presume.
No, she just came here to visit.
Okay, and when did she come to the United States to visit?
I think sometime this year. I think it's like 3 months ago.
3 months ago. Okay.
Yes.
And she's married to you?
No. She's my aunt, but her daughter put in a petition for her.
Who
So
put
she has
put in for her?
Her daughter.
Her daughter,
Put in a-
who's a U.S. citizen herself.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Now, does the
But-
aunt want to stay here or she wants to go home?
Well, I mean, she wants to go home because she has an I-130 that's been approved, right?
I understand, but she could presumably, if she's been here for more than 90 days, stay here and do an adjustment here. It'll be a lot faster.
Oh yeah, because she's not married nor anything.
No,
like
because
that.
because she made a legal entry in the United States and she can put an adjustment through the sponsorship by a U.S. citizen daughter 90 days after her entry. And to me, that's a much faster route. She'll get a green card in less than a year. She goes back to Jamaica. You're hearing the calls. I sponsored my husband. The last call, or 2 calls ago, was I sponsored my husband before the pandemic even started, and I can't get an appointment in Jamaica.
Okay, because the thing is that her I-130 has been approved.
That's
from
wonderful.
From last year.
Right, and she'll go home and wait for God knows how long. if she's here in the U.S., her daughter's over 21, her daughter's a U.S. citizen, she's been here for more than 90 days, whether her visa is up or not, it doesn't matter. File the adjustment here.
Okay, so
Final
you put
answer.
it. Okay.
And I can help.
Okay.
Hold on. You need Regis Philbin here. Final answer, Regis. I know he's not alive anymore, is he? No, he passed. Who does that show now? We don't know. Okay. Jermaine in Queens.
Hey, Brad.
How are you?
I'm all right.
What's going on?
So my cousin, she was barred because she came in the U.S. She had a baby, plus the immigration officer searched her phone, found out that she was trying to get a job. So now she want to apply for a job on the ship. Is it possible for her to get through?
So she wants to get a crewman's visa to come here?
Yeah.
I don't believe they would give her one because she still has a deportation and a misrepresentation. But she can try to apply and get a waiver. She would need a waiver.
Okay. To get a job on the ship?
Correct.
She would need a waiver?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Unless she could be like, now I'm really dating myself, Lucille Ball.
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever see that show? When she tried to reach Ricky on the ship and she brought in a helicopter and she came in from the helicopter.
Of course.
Everyone's seen that,
Yes.
right? She's dangling. That would be the only way to get on the ship other than a waiver. What are the two? All right, Mohi in Chicago. Mohi.
Hi, Brad.
How are you?
Good. I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
My first question is, are you live on YouTube today?
Yes, I'm live on YouTube. I'm looking at myself on YouTube right now.
Oh, I couldn't find it on my computer. I don't know
Bradshaw
why.
Live. That's all you got to type in. Should pop up.
Okay.
But let me tell you something, Mohi. I'll give you a secret. Okay, go to my page, Bradshaw Live on YouTube, and subscribe. You won't have to find me anymore. You'll get a notification. All right?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
He's not going to do it, but I'll answer his question. All right. Mohi,
Okay, my
yes.
second question is...
Okay.
Yeah, my second question is, can a person who's going for a citizenship interview take the physical green card and a state ID and an expired passport to the interview?
Take the physical green card, a state ID, and an expired passport? Yes.
Okay. And suppose a person who has some issues in his home country doesn't want to become a citizen. He wants to remain on a green card. Can he do that all the time?
You can remain on a green card for the rest of your life. There's no law that says you have to become a citizen.
Okay. Thank you, Brad, for the kind information. Thank you very much.
Okay. Let's go to Reynardo in Queens.
How do you feel about that?
Reynardo.
Yes, hello?
How are you?
I'm good.
What's going
on? As the pandemic raging now, well, the end of it. So if I'm a citizen and met this nice girl in Jamaica, she have some kids, and which is the best way to do it? Is it what's the K1 visa, or you just go there and do the marriage? This is the easier way, or the fastest way I should ask.
Okay, because those are three different questions. Best way, easiest way, and fastest way. Fastest way is K1 visa. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. A fiancé visa is faster than going to Jamaica, getting married, and filing. Is it easier? Not necessarily, because after your fiancé comes to the United States, you got to get married and then file a second set of papers here in America. So it's two sets of papers. But is it faster? Yes.
Okay, cool.
All right.
I have a question that I need to ask. I'm asking for someone.
And by the way, it's also faster because you can do it tonight. To get married, you got to go to Jamaica, get married, and come back. That takes time.
Oh, cool. Nice. So, Brad, if what are the circumstances if you married somebody and you have what criminal record they could have that could make them not be able to come to America?
Well, any sort of lies to the government or misrepresentation, a criminal record, being having some sort of communicable disease, not being able to be supported above the poverty level, previously being ordered deported from the United States, being a suspected terrorist or a suspected drug dealer. There's lots of reasons, making false claims to U.S. citizenship in a past point. There's lots of reasons to deny you. But if, everyone knows if they have a skeleton in their closet. Okay? So I always ask, skeletons in the closet? No, I'm clean. People know.
So something like a simple assault. Like if you hit somebody, you probably do like 3 months in Jamaica jail.
A simple assault in Jamaica jail is most likely a crime of moral turpitude. It could be an aggravated felony if you're sentenced to more than a year in jail, even if it's suspended. As an aggravated felon, you can't come. As a crime of moral turpitude, you would need a waiver.
Okay, so a waiver will give you a favorable response.
It could perhaps give you a favorable response. So, for instance, simple assault in Jamaica, because I have a lot of Jamaican clients, is much different than simple assault here in, say, for example, New York City. And the difference is this. In New York City, the maximum that a judge could give you as a sentence on a simple assault is 1 year in jail. And usually on simple assaults, it's a misdemeanor, and you get, a probation or a community service or pay a fine, and don't do it again, okay? And that would be a petty offense, and that would not be inadmissible, and that would not be deportable. But in Jamaica, a judge on a simple assault could throw you in jail for 2, 3, 4 years, even though you don't do any jail time or you do 3 months. If the potential sentence could be more than a year, no matter what your sentence may be, it's no longer a petty offense. It's a crime of moral turpitude, and you need a waiver, and there's no guarantee waivers get approved.
Gotcha. Good stuff. Thanks.
All right, good luck. Let's go to Jay in Columbus, Ohio.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, Jay. How are you?
I'm good. So I have a question about my husband.
Uh-huh.
He came here on an F1 back in 2007.
Yes.
He fell off the status, and then he started working without a permit.
Got it.
He got married and applied for I-130. That was denied. And then later on, he applied for asylum. That was denied too, and then he was deported in 2018.
He got married to you or to somebody else?
No, to somebody else.
Okay. Why was the I-130 denied?
They say that they couldn't prove that it was a bona fide marriage.
Okay. And then the asylum, they didn't believe him?
Yes.
Okay.
So then he got deported in 2018. But we got married in 2017. Now that I'm a citizen, I was thinking if I can sponsor him. But my question is, when I requested I did the FOIA for his documents, and I found that they had charged him with false information on I-9.
Okay. Now, false information on I-9, did he make a false claim to U.S. citizenship?
No. So there were two I-9s. Actually, I got everything, and there were two I-9s. For one company, he didn't sign it, and that was one.
That's okay. All right. So let me give you the bottom line. Okay. Because your question is, can I sponsor my husband?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And based on what you told me, there is waivers for everything except two things, which is what anybody would have to look through the FOIA for. Okay, the first thing is, if it's one thing if they did not believe that he was in a bona fide marriage, okay? They say to him, you know what? You haven't proven to us, to our satisfaction, this is a legit marriage. We're going to deny you. That's one thing, okay? It's another thing if they say, we have evidence based on our interview and our investigation, this is a business marriage. If they charge him as business marriage, that is a permanent bar. He can't get a green card again. There's a big difference between saying business marriage versus we have no idea if this is real or not. You haven't proven it to our satisfaction. Those are two different things. If it's you haven't proven it to our satisfaction, there's no fraud. You just weren't able to prove your case. If it's business marriage, we got the goods on you, then he's out of luck. That's one thing you would want to look for. The other thing you would want to look for, because you talked about I-9. Okay, I-9 is the forms that you fill out so that you can work. Okay, and you have to fill out, document from column A, document from column B, whatever it is, to show that you're legal to work in the United States. If you gave fraudulent documents on an I-9, you weren't charged criminally. They just said you gave fraudulent documents, we're going to put you in deportation. That in of itself is not a reason to deny his green card back at the embassy. However, if as part of the fraudulent documentation, he made a false claim to U.S. citizenship, again, that is a permanent bar to any return to the United States. Is he going to need waivers? Absolutely. He definitely needs a waiver because he was deported, so he's going to need a 212 waiver. He may or may not need other waivers that I don't know. I would have to look through the whole FOIA. But the things that would be an absolute no-no where there's nothing anyone's going to be able to do to help him is business marriage, false claim to U.S. citizenship. Otherwise, he can do waivers.
Okay.
All right, and we can help if you want. Hold on. Where am I? That was Raymond in Texas. All right, let's go to Pearl in Brooklyn. Pearl.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
What's going on?
Brad, my son was caught shoplifting in 2019, and he pleaded guilty. So the police was called, and he received a fine. He went to court and paid the fine. Can he file for citizenship?
Right now?
Yeah.
Was it a misdemeanor?
No, a violation.
Just a violation?
Yeah.
And was that his only time he's ever been arrested in his life?
He wasn't arrested.
Well, he was if he paid a fine. He may not have been thrown in jail, but he had to go to court, do something.
Yeah.
All right.
Go to court because they sent him home after that.
Does he have any other offenses?
No, this is the first time.
Can he file for citizenship based on what you told me? Absolutely. He's not deportable. Nothing bad will happen. He has to prove good moral character. I always argue on like these small little incidences. If there's like one small tiny little incident, you have a small tiny incident doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes you having a bad night. So that's always my argument to immigration. That's the argument you're gonna have to make. I had a bad night, but I'm not a bad person.
I have this position and everything, so I can understand you guys look at it for me.
Yep. Hold on one second. All right, let's, didn't I speak to Raymond already? Why is she back again? Raymond. Or I never spoke to you.
Brad.
Oh, I did not speak to you. Raymond, how are you? What can I do to help you?
Good. So, Brad, I'm just wondering, I put in my 751 last year, October 2020 precisely, and I'm just wondering, I was going to petition for my daughter. She's somewhere back in Africa, and I'm just wondering, I don't know how much, if I put in for her about maybe in the month of October, for example, I don't know how long the process is going to take.
How old is your daughter?
She's 8 years old.
Why doesn't your spouse file for her as the U.S. citizen?
Okay, at the time she was going to file for her, it was Trump's era, and they were talking about this food stamp thing and all that. So that was it. So she didn't file
are you
for her.
together with your spouse now?
Yeah.
Right. Your spouse should still file for her. It's still faster. The U.S. citizen rather than a resident.
Okay. About how much? Like how long is it going to be?
If your spouse is going to file, hopefully 12 to 18 months. We hope. We'll see. Maybe longer. You never know. But I hope. I give you a hopeful guess, but I can't tell you exactly.
Okay. And second question quickly, I put in for my 751 last year, and October this year is going to be like I'm going to be eligible for the 3-year stuff to put in my citizenship.
Do it. I'm recommending everybody now because the I-751s are taking so long. If you're eligible for citizenship, file it.
Okay then. Thank you. Thank you, Brad.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Let's go to Oma in Trenton.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Okay, I couldn't go for my marriage-based interview because of domestic and emotional torture. However, I filed for VAWA and wrote on my marriage-based EAD for renewal. That was June 26, 2020. So I got a receipt, prima facie. I also got an extension, but up till now, there is no renewed EAD sent to me.
All right, so
is this something to worry about?
Well, you don't have to worry about it, but it sounds like you screwed up a little bit, okay? And the screw up was you said you did not go on your adjustment interview because you were being tortured, which I understand. But the immigration officer doesn't know that you're being tortured. All he knows or she knows is you didn't show up. So if you don't show up, your case is denied. The guy, you're in Trenton, so the man or woman who was supposed to interview you in Newark, New Jersey, has no idea that you filed a VAWA case with the service center. They should know. They should know, but they don't. What?
I think I sent for abeyance or something.
Yeah, but you sent a letter. That's not enough. You have to physically go there. So my guess is, I don't know for a fact, but if I had to bet money, I'd bet a lot of money on the fact that your adjustment application was denied because you didn't show up, and all you have right now is a pending VAWA case, which would mean that you would have to file a new adjustment with a new work permit. That would be my guess. I'm almost 99% certain I'm right.
Okay, but if that wasn't supposed to be so, is it possible that because the receipt went through, I got an extension? Do you think to have gone through if it wasn't?
You got an extension of what?
Work permit, like 6 months extension.
No, because you just filed for a work permit and they automatically just issue a receipt to you. In 6 months from now, you'll probably get a denial, or 7 months from now, you'll get a denial saying your adjustment was denied. That's my guess. And as I said, I think I'm 99% certain.
Okay.
All right, but I can help you if you want. Hold on. All right. And by the way, we're going to get into our social media check-in a little bit. I know yesterday we were a little fast on the social media check-in, so Vanessa turned blue. So hopefully, damn it, yes, not hopefully. We're gonna answer a lot more social media check-in this time around. But in the meantime, if you didn't get a chance to speak to me on the phone, you can always follow me at Real Brad Bernstein on Instagram. If you follow me on @RealBradBernstein on Instagram, you can drop me a DM. I'll be happy to answer your questions. I do that for many people. You can also follow us at Brad Show Live. Watch all our antics, all our shows, everything in 30 seconds or less on @Brad Show Live. You can also follow us on TikTok. You want to see me dance? You won't follow us on TikTok. But you want to see me answer a lot of immigration questions very fast? Follow me on TikTok at Brad Show Live. And Yo-Yo and Vanessa, what do you got?
Yep, you guys can follow me at Jonathan Elias TV on Instagram.
And you guys can find me at Vanessa.Contreras TV.
And later in the show, after our social media check-in, I will be speaking with Bruce Goldstein. And we're going to hear the second part of my discussion with him. He's the president of Farm Worker Justice, about the Farm Work Modernization Act of 2021. That is the farm worker amnesty. Everybody wants to know what's going on with amnesty. Well, this guy knows. He's in the trenches there in Washington, D.C. It's already passed the House in March of 2021. It's now before the Senate, and the bill would give an amnesty to farm workers and a path for legal immigration status for many. So let's watch that as well.
And now we have Priya Schrader, host of NBC7 San Diego's Politically Speaking, an officer in the United States Navy Reserve. Tell us the #1 thing she'd like to see in immigration reform. So now, squad out there, what would you guys like to see? We're going to be looking in the comments, all right? Check it out.
What is the #1 change you want to see in U.S. immigration reform?
Here in San Diego, the influx of unaccompanied minors that are showing up to the border. And because we're right here, San Diego actually decided to give the federal government our convention center here. And we have 1,400 teenage girls who are in the convention center. And that turned into a huge political debate because some public school teachers decided to go in there and volunteer to teach some of those girls during their spring break. And it was taking information and skewing it and not saying everything, which was that these teachers were on spring break. They were volunteering. No one was telling them to do it. And it was for a temporary amount of time. I'm so sick of people taking little bits and pieces of things and turning it into a narrative that doesn't actually make any sense. So I hope that when we talk about immigration, we take a step back and, like I said, get the full story and get the whole picture.
All right, social media check-in.
All right, our first one comes from Adipatan Janet Olawasion saying, Brad Squad VIP member, saying, can I make an inquiry after I send an RFE? It's been about 60 days now.
Of course you can make an inquiry, but you won't hear anything for a minimum of 120. But make your inquiry. It's not going to hurt.
Christina Shanix, another Brad Squad VIP member. My husband's I-601A was approved on February 4th of 2021, and on March 11th, his case was approved at the NVC. Now he is waiting on an interview in his country, but his mother is sick. How can I expedite this?
His mother is sick where? In America? You can basically write a letter, a humanitarian letter. His mother is sick. Here's the evidence. He really needs to be able to get a green card and come back so he can help her. But you have to explain why him getting a green card is going to help the mother feel better.
Okay, Linda Shaw, Brad Squad VIP member. My 120 days finished at the end of July. What's next? I've been waiting over a year for an interview date for from the embassy.
You can wait more. You can contact them. Everyone's having the same problems all over the world.
Andrea Wilson, a Brad Squad VIP member. I got a notice to do my biometrics on July 29. The problem is that the notice was sent to my previous Virgin Islands address, but I now live in Florida. I sent the change of address notice last week on Thursday. So what would I need to do now? Would I need to go to the Virgin Islands to do my biometrics, or can I do it here in Florida?
You should be able to do it in Florida. You can. Pre-COVID, you used to be able to go to the biometric center any Wednesday and just do it. I would try to go on a Wednesday, bring proof that you already changed your address and that it was sent incorrectly to the Virgin Islands address.
Tamiki Hill on YouTube. I have a pending VAWA and really want to go visit my mom and dad who are sick in Jamaica. I have an AP, but I'm really scared to use it as they said that it's not guaranteed that I'll be back or let back into the country. What should I do?
Go visit your mother. I've never seen anybody stopped for advance parole.
Mally B on YouTube. How long does USCIS take to send a decision in the mail after a VAWA interview if I did not get a decision at the interview?
It could be a day, it could be a week, could be a month, could be a year. There's no set standard.
Jackie Npia de Guerra on Facebook. If someone was detained and had to see a judge and then the person was released, but this person couldn't show up to their court date, is there something that could be done?
Well, you can make a motion to reopen, but you better have a really good reason why you didn't show up.
Gianelli Smith on Facebook. What is the next step for my child petitioned by a U.S. citizen, I-130, when it's approved and the child has arrived in the U.S.? Will it be filing an I-485? If so, when is the right time to file?
Yeah, file an I-485 90 days after the entry.
Sheldon Reed on YouTube. Does an immigrant who received their green card have to wait 6 months to travel outside of the U.S.?
No.
Lishi 27 TV US on YouTube. My adjustment of status recently got approved in less than 6 months. Can I travel to my home country for a month with my passport since it is still valid, or do I need to apply for travel documents?
If your I-45 is approved and you have a stamp in your passport that you're approved, you can travel. If you have no temporary I-551 stamp, go get one and then travel. You do it at the local office.
Donette Bryant on Facebook. I got my green card February 14, 2019 through marriage. When's the earliest date I can apply for my citizenship?
December 2022.
Golden Gate on YouTube, is the Haitian TPS application period still open? How does someone apply who does not have money?
Well, you can request a fee waiver. You can do it on your own. The TPS is not open yet. We're waiting on the regulations, hopefully very soon.
Mohammed Islam on YouTube. When does the countdown start for 3 years continuous stay on U visa for an overstayed non-citizen? Can an overstayed non-citizen travel internationally with advanced parole after applying for AOS?
The U visa starts at the day you're approved. 3 years, you can file for an advanced parole once you file for the adjustment.
Sharon Houghton on Facebook, what does it mean when a citizenship interview is descheduled?
Exactly what it means, descheduled. Will be rescheduled another time.
Elizabeth Karanja on Facebook. I completed my 10-year ban a couple years ago, and I'm thinking of returning because of advantage in my country. Do I have a chance?
You need a doctor in America who wants to treat you, and you got to be able to prove that you have the resources or some other financial arrangements that the U.S. government's not going to be paying for any of your medical care. You also have to prove that there is no medical care in Jamaica, and then request a visa for medical care. So maybe you have a chance.
Rose F on YouTube, I filed a joint I-751 removal of condition with my spouse last year in June. Now he wants a divorce. What can I do?
Give him the divorce, get rid of him, convert your case to a bona fide marriage that's terminated based on divorce, and finish the I-751 on your own.
Binta C on YouTube, I applied for my renewal EAD in December and still haven't gotten it. What is the cause?
They're extraordinarily delayed. You can expedite it if you're about to lose your job. You need a letter from your employer. You're about to lose your job, submit it, request a humanitarian expedite.
Brian on YouTube, I got an update stating that my card has been mailed to me. How long will it take to reach my home?
Ask the postman.
Michael Klokazas on YouTube, is there anything new for essential workers regarding the path to citizenship, and are hairstylists essential workers?
Hairstylists are not essential workers, but to me they should be. Because they would be essential to help me.
There you go.
Let's see what happens with the immigration laws. We're going to be speaking with Bruce Goldstein in a little bit. He's going to update us on everything, so watch.
Danielle Okanda on YouTube, does the pathway to citizenship include withholding status?
Meaning that if you have withholding of removal, can you get a pathway to citizenship? Let's see how the laws are written. Let's see what passes. We don't know. It's conjecture.
God's Grace on YouTube, I'm an F1 category and my priority date is July 2016. Any idea when I'll receive the approval notice?
No, I have no idea when you'll receive your approval notice.
Miriam Samora on Facebook, what can I do in my case if my case was revoked by the embassy for an IR2 visa category?
Why was it revoked? Give me more information.
Rolls Royce on YouTube, can I be admitted to the States without filing a 601 waiver if I overstayed a B1, B2 visa, but I'm in consular processing abroad for a green card and approved?
If you've overstayed by more than a year, you have a 10-year bar. So if it was more than 10 years ago, you don't need a waiver. If it was less than 10 years ago, you do.
Chatan Tande on YouTube, does using premium processing from an EB1 petition lead to stricter scrutiny?
No.
Dane Lewis on YouTube, can I get a P.O. box at the post office and have the USCIS send my mail there instead of my home address?
Yes.
Jody Ann on YouTube, if I'm a man living in Jamaica, had thumped someone in the eye and got 7 years in jail, but did 4 years and have been out for 5 years now, can a U.S. citizen file for him?
No, you hit someone in the eye, it's called assault. And it's more than a year in jail, it's called an aggravated felony. And an aggravated felony is a bar to getting a green card even with a waiver.
Nicola Robin on YouTube, if a husband brings his wife to America and tells her he filed her papers and then she finds out after her time is up that he's already married to someone else, what then?
He's a dirty dog.
Dirty dog.
But if she is here, you could still, in a bigamous marriage that you were unaware of, perhaps file a VAWA case if you were the victim of abuse. If not, then you got to find a new way. You were never married. Vanessa.
Oh.
Vanessa's still shocked on that last one.
Yeah. Mario Manzano on YouTube. How long does it take for a son to father petition? Father stayed in the U.S. With a tourist passport.
If a son is over 21 and is a U.S. citizen, the father overstayed on his visa, they're going to file an adjustment, and hopefully it'll take a year.
Okay, Honey Princess on YouTube. I got a revocation letter from the embassy on the IR2 visa catalog in March. What can
Category.
I do?
I think it's the same person. What happens if I'm revoked? Again, why was it revoked? I don't know why it was revoked, and I can tell you what to do.
Kadian Lewis on Facebook. I have a green card. Can I make my nephew live with me and go to school? He doesn't have a green card.
You can make him. I mean, I think you.
Or I guess can she have him?
Can she have him? If he is under 18 years old, and you want to put him in public school, and your nephew's going to live with you, and you can show that he has been abandoned, injured, neglected by at least one of his biological parents. You don't have to show both, but at least one, and show that it's not in his best interests to return to his home country. You can then go into a local family court, get guardianship, get that special ruling from the local family court judge that it, as part of the guardianship petition, it's not in this child's interest to return to Jamaica because of abandonment, abuse, or neglect. And then that child can now file for a special immigrant juvenile adjustment immediately. It's actually a substantially quicker, faster way to do it if the child qualifies than actually doing an adoption.
My main Eliza on YouTube. We dated for a month and decided to get married as well. We both like each other. How long should we wait to apply for adjustment of status? I overstayed.
The day after you get married, file. What are you waiting for?
Neptune Pierre on YouTube. What happens after my I-130 activity is being reviewed by USCIS? What's the next step?
Wait for them to review it.
Mark Mahaber on Facebook. Do I need an immigration lawyer or any kind of lawyer to file for a divorce?
For a divorce, you don't need an immigration lawyer. Any lawyer who can do a divorce. But you don't even need well, it depends. Sometimes you need a lawyer for divorce. All right. So yesterday I spoke with Bruce Goldstein, the president of the nonprofit organization Farm Worker Justice, which works for the rights of migrant and seasonal farm workers. Bruce's organization is strongly advocating for the Farm Workforce Modernization Act of 2021, which is before Congress, and will provide farm workers with a path to legal immigration status and update the H-2A temporary worker visa program. Today we hear the second part of my discussion with Bruce regarding more details about the farm worker amnesty. Let's watch. Bruce Goldstein is the president of Farm Worker Justice, a national nonprofit organization that works to empower migrant and seasonal farm workers by improving their living and working conditions. Recently, a new legislation, the Farm Workforce Modernization Act, passed in the House and is now waiting for a vote in the Senate. Bruce joins me to discuss farm worker justice and what this new legislation would mean for both farm workers and their employers. Welcome, Bruce. Thanks for coming.
Thanks so much for having me, Brad. I really appreciate it.
Assuming the bill passes as it is written and passed by the House of Representatives, what would a farm worker have to do to become legal?
Well, let me preface this by saying that we have a lot of materials on our Farm Worker Justice website that goes through a lot of the details of the bill, the Farm Workforce Modernization Act fact sheet. So I encourage people to visit our website, www.farmworkerjustice.org. So for the legalization program, undocumented farm workers would be able to come forward and file an application, and they would apply for a certified agricultural worker status. And to do that, they would have to show that they've worked at least 180 days in agriculture in the United States in the last 2 years. And they would also have to show that they have not been convicted of serious crimes and that they've been in the United States, recently. And if they can prove that, then they would be granted a certified agricultural worker status, which basically is a temporary immigration status. They'd be allowed to stay in the United States, work in any job. They'd be allowed to travel abroad and return to the United States. And the status would basically last 5 years. If the person wants to renew, the person would have to show that he or she worked at least 100 days in agriculture in the United States each year. And let me back up and say that when the farm worker gets the certified agricultural status by showing that he or she has that experience in the last 2 years, their immediate family members, their spouses and minor children, would also get that same temporary immigration status. And that temporary immigration status also would last 5 years. They could work in any job in the United States and the status would be renewable. They would not have to work in agriculture. And let me emphasize that agricultural work on farms and ranches in the United States is among the very lowest paying jobs in the United States. It is also ranked as among the most dangerous jobs in terms of occupational deaths and occupational injuries. Also, farm workers are excluded from many of the labor laws that protect other workers, like overtime pay after 40 hours a week. They don't get it. And the right to join a union free from discrimination or retaliation, they don't get that either. So this is one of the toughest jobs you can find in the United States. They have to prove that they've been doing it, and then they have to continue in it at least 100 days per year.
And I'd just like to say this, when somebody says we don't want people coming from another country to take our jobs, these are not jobs that they're taking away from American citizens. For the most part, American citizens don't want these jobs. Is that correct?
Right. More than 80% of farm workers are immigrants, and at least half the farm workers in the United States are undocumented immigrants. And, unfortunately, the jobs are low paying and dangerous. And so many people in the United States don't want to take these jobs. Part of our mission at Farm Worker Justice is to improve the wages and working conditions and occupational safety of agriculture so that farm workers are paid better, do work in safer workplaces, and that will in turn stabilize the workforce so that we will not keep having such high turnover. The estimate that we rely on, that a lot of people do, is that there are 2.4 million farm workers in the United States. And so there's an estimate from the U.S. Department of Labor based on the Farm Labor Survey of Workers that about half the farm workers are undocumented.
So absurd when you think about these numbers. 50% of the people who grow the food that Americans eat are undocumented. And here's many politicians saying, throw them out of the country. We don't want them. What happens to our food supply if we don't have these undocumented workers working on our farms?
Right. My view is that the agriculture system in this country would collapse if we were to deport any significant number of farm workers from the United States. And it's never become more clear than during this COVID-19 pandemic, because the Trump administration made an official finding that the food and agriculture system is a critical infrastructure sector in the United States, and that farm workers are essential workers in that sector. So we've just officially said that these workers are essential to our economic stability and our ability to eat. So the refusal to recognize that the reality is that these people are here and we need them, and many are undocumented and should be given status, it's just outrageous. So some people will say, oh, we're not going to really deport them. The status quo will keep. So what is the status quo? The status quo that half the farm workers in the country are undocumented. Most of them have lived here for at least 15 years. Most of them are married and have children. They're afraid to go to public places. They're afraid to go to the parent-teacher conferences with their kids for fear that immigration agents in farm worker communities might show up at the school and arrest and deport them. They're afraid to go to COVID-19 testing sites and vaccination sites, again, for fear that immigration agents will be there. They're afraid to say to their employers, I need a mask. I need more sanitation facilities to be able to wash my hands more frequently. I need other protections against COVID-19. I need paid sick leave. Many of them are just afraid to ask their employers for that because they're undocumented and they're afraid that they'll be fired, and getting another job could be difficult. And they're afraid that somebody will call the immigration service on them and have them arrested and deported. So that's the status quo for at least half the farm workers in this country, and it needs to end.
How does it affect the average American who doesn't come into contact with these farm workers if they were to become legal?
Consumers want to know, and they're making demands, and they're going to patronize companies that can prove that the farm workers are being treated well. Second is the reason why there's a compromise between farm worker organizations and growers on this legislation is that farm owners are saying, we need our workers to hold a legal status. And the reason is that the lack of legal status interferes with their ability to make a profit. Farms are less productive when a lot of their workers are living and working in fear of being arrested. Some of them, for example, can't show up to work certain days because immigration agents in their ICE vans are roaming around their neighborhoods, their communities, and the farm workers stay in their homes and don't get onto the street to go to work. We work with a bunch of growers, and what they tell us is that farm work today requires the exercise of skill and judgment, not just bending over and stooping and picking fast. For example, when there's bird droppings and deer poop on crops like spinach and strawberries, farm workers today are being trained to make sure to report those things and to not pick those crops and to have it dealt with, because those kinds of contaminations of crops cause foodborne illness in human beings, the consumers. And a few years ago, virtually the entire spinach industry on the West Coast was shut down because of that. So growers want immigration reform and retailers want immigration reform because they want to be able to say to their consumers, this food is safe.
You know, Yo-Yo was just saying to me as we were watching the video, he was saying to me, 50% of the farm workers in America are undocumented. And these Republicans want to throw them out of the country? Who the hell's going to... We'd all starve to death.
Right.
Wow. Yeah.
Right? Yo-Yo's like, we would starve to death. I go, exactly. Who's going to grow our food?
Literally just want something to argue about.
Right.
Like, that's all it
one
is.
out of two workers. There would be no food. You know what? Everybody would be eating Kraft macaroni and cheese because there would be no fruit or vegetables on your table.
And baby boy doesn't like Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Right. All right. And tomorrow, we're going to hear the last part of my discussion with Bruce regarding more or maybe not the last part, another part of my discussion with Bruce regarding more details about the farm worker bill, the amnesty bill, and what needs to happen to get it passed, and more importantly, who's going to be included in this amnesty bill. So let's watch. All right, speed round.
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. Let's pray.
All right.
Let's go and pray.
Yes, all of the above.
All of the above.
All right. Can I marry someone with a green card?
Of course you can marry somebody with a green card. Duh.
Can I get my visa back after overstaying due to an illness?
Probably not, but you can try.
I'm in the U.S. with a pending asylum. Can my husband apply for a visitor's visa?
He's not getting one.
Can a U.S. citizen sponsor a friend for citizenship?
No such thing.
Can I apply for a fiancé visa if USCIS said my marriage is not bona fide?
No, they don't believe you're married.
Is a truck driver an essential worker?
Not right now.
Can I apply for DACA right now?
If you qualify, yes, it's open.
Can I travel on advanced parole if I'm married to a U.S. citizen?
Yes, for less than a month.
Can an 18-year-old lawful permanent resident obtain citizenship one day?
In one day? No, but you can file for your naturalization or your certificate of citizenship.
There you go. There we go.
All right, we did it! Did we do it? We did it! I didn't know if I was going to say Papa or we were going to win.
We did it.
I didn't know if I was going to have to hide under the table.
We don't have to.
Are you sure we did it? Vanessa, did you count 9?
I made sure it was 9.
Were you sure it was 9?
Yes.
9 for sure?
Yes.
9?
Yes.
9.
Oh, it was 9.
Oh, man. Yes. Finally. Got some good questions, good answers, good information.
There we go.
In 50 seconds or less. It's what I like to call a speed round.
Woo. Successful one, at least.
All right. Comments of the day.
All right, our first comment of the day comes from Donna Good Intentions saying, "Hey, squad, thanks for all you're doing for the people."
Oh, very nice. Those are some good intentions there.
Yes, yes.
I like Donna, yes. What do you got, Vanessa?
Abio Dun Jamo saying, no more staying up late nights in Nigeria to watch the best immigration show. Now in Columbus, after coming to America, became a reality last week with my family.
Hey! Now that's what I say, the celebration with balloons.
Yes,
and maybe some champagne. And maybe some tea. And maybe something harder than tea, right? But congratulations and welcome to Columbus, Ohio.
Yes, absolutely. We have another congratulations. Got one for Stargirl Mika saying, "Brad, don't know what I would do without you and Spar Bernstein. I got one of my renewals approved and in my hand today."
Way to go, Stargirl.
Yes.
Congratulations to her as well.
Yes.
I used to drive. I'm having memories now of driving through Columbus, Ohio.
Oh.
Yes, every year because I went to school in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So you would take Route 80. Not Form I-80, Route 80, not the Form, Route 80 straight from New York City straight to Columbus, Ohio.
Wow.
Make a right. Go up to Ann Arbor.
Okay, and our last comment of the day from David Gabriel saying, people, besides sharing, do it right the first time. Hire Uncle Brad, save time, stress, and money.
Now that's a smart man, that Gabriel.
Yes.
Yes. Anybody else? That's it. All right, so tomorrow, guys, hump day.
It is.
Camels are already getting a little anxious back there.
They're in the cage.
They're in the cage. All right, camels, tomorrow's your day. We'll see you then. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein Law Firm, located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK. 1-800-529-5465.